All right, I want to thank Caleb Elliott for joining me on this sunny afternoon in Rotterdam before you guys got a show, I guess, later tonight at Rotterdam.
Was it Valhalla Cantina, is that the name of it? Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, thanks a lot. I just saw you guys, I guess, in Venlo on Sunday. You were at the Down by the River Festival and put on a great show. Was really impressed, and then we sparked up a conversation. So thanks for taking the time to chat with me this afternoon.
My pleasure, man. Venlo was awesome. That was honestly one of the best experiences so far on the tour. We wound up, after the whole thing, a couple of the bands went to this bar that was like closing, and then we walked in and like he reopened the place for us, and we ended up passing the guitar around until like 4 in the morning. It was a pretty magical night. It was a good one.
Fantastic. And speak a little bit about touring in Europe, and especially maybe compared to touring in the U.S. Do you find big differences? This is what, your second or third time over touring?
This is my second time playing music over here. First time getting to play my own songs. Last time I came playing cello with some other artists. And I gotta say, it's like the audiences they're so receptive, and it's just a different vibe with things. Maybe it's just the style of music we're playing, but yeah, they seem to be really hungry for it and into it, and it's really encouraging. And I look forward to hopefully coming back as much as I can.
Fantastic. And speaking of your own music, you just got a brand new album out, and talk a little bit about the new album and the style of music you play.
Well, the new album is called Forever to Fade. Came out on March the 8th, so not too long ago. And stylistically, I'm always really terrible at answering this question about my own music. But I've been told it's, somebody called it swamp art pop. I've no idea what that even means.
Nailed it.
Yeah, but I've also been told it kind of draws from like the Crosby, Stills, Nash vibe, and then with some Neil Young stuff in there, like the maybe mid-early 70s folk era. But one of the themes I wanted to have on the record was like a really grooved out vibe. So that was a big part of it. And I'm a cello player first. It's my first instrument, so there's strings all over it. So it's a string heavy, kind of a throwback folk record.
All right, perfect. Because I find that challenging as well. To categorize the music. I don't know why it's necessary, really, except, I guess, to find that fan base. But everyone wants to put, the music in the boxes, and it's this type and this type, and roots rock and rockabilly and Americana and folk, and it gets very difficult sometimes. It's just good music is good music. Why do you think, how do you feel about that? Putting everything in these categories when it comes to the style of music you're playing.
I think it's part of human nature, man. I think people have to be able to latch onto a narrative, to be able to talk about something. I guess, I don't know.
Do you think it becomes more challenging to find an audience because you don't maybe fit into a box as easily as maybe some other artists?
I hope not, man. I hope that it's got enough of the songs, fit with all the different listeners, whoever wants to be, open to it.
Sure. Yeah, it's not very often I see a cello at a rock and roll show or a country show or any kind of show. So talk about growing up. I remember from your performance you talked a bit about growing up in a very musical family, but talk a little bit about your musical history and how you got inspired to do what you're doing now.
It was all kind of by chance, really. I was going to school down in Lafayette, Louisiana, and decided at a certain point that I was going to try to pursue music after I graduated. And I started playing around town as much as possible. And I released this little EP, which I can't even believe I'm admitting to it because I don't want anyone to go find it. But it's really the only thing that EP did for me. It made locally people aware that I played the cello, and eventually randomly met someone from Muscle Shoals area at a gig one night, and he was like, "Man, you should come check out Muscle Shoals." And I ended up going up there and cutting on an album and meeting a bunch of folks, and then they started recruiting me to move there. And started getting more and more session work as a cellist there, and then through that met the folks who've now released my album of my own stuff. So, yeah, man, I did not expect the cello to open those doors. But I'm glad to walk through.
Cello's opening the door to rock and roll. Who would have figured? That's a great story. Let's talk a little bit more about your music and maybe some of the songwriting as far as the lyrics and things like that goes. Where do you grab your inspiration for some of the lyrics you write?
It's just different every time, man. I think with this record in particular, it was a season of change for me, and I think an overall theme of it is like moving away from dysfunction in your life and trying to get into more a healthy mindset, like get away from the negative and into the positive. So that's why I chose the name Forever to Fade, because like if you're in a negative place or around a lot of dysfunction, it can feel like you're just taking forever to fade away, and it's a horrible feeling and something you should move away from if you can. So, yeah.
Excellent. It's Caleb Elliott. Be sure to check him out. Spotify, social media. It's Caleb Elliott Music, or what's the social media handles?
Well, on Instagram, it's Chelliott Music.
I get it.
C Elliott Music, and then Twitter's the Caleb Elliott, because all other forms of Caleb Elliott were taken.
The Caleb Elliott, right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Well, be sure to check him out on Spotify. Check him out on tour, and support him because he's supporting us with the Real Country Revival. Talk to you later. Savior.